I need to free my mind now. I really need Jada. I need to free my now. I really need mine now. Oh, yeah. This is the peace that you cannot buy. Send me love that you cannot mix.
Kiss 107.1 is WTLZ Saginaw with Steve Harvey in the morning and simply the best R&B all day. Take us everywhere. Your smartphone, in your car, to work, or live at KissWTLZ.com. We're Kiss 107.1.
Time for community connections. Time for community connections.
Every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with a holy liberty. Let our rejoicing rock the living God. Every sound loud and roll. Hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. On this Resurrection Sunday, date April the 9th, 2023. It is Easter Sunday. I want to say good afternoon. This is Community Connections, community talk for community people, and it is the fastest and most friendly weekly 1-hour talk show in the Great Lakes-based Saginaw area. And I'm so glad that you tuned in this afternoon on April 9th for another sharing of community talk and information. Today's Community Connection show is brought to you by the Saginaw NAACP and its Youth Council. And of course, it is Second Sunday Civic Sunday. And I have with me my co-host, Carl Williams. And we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic. How you doing today?
Good afternoon. Happy Easter Sunday.
Yes, happy Easter Sunday. Happy Easter to you, Rob.
Thank you.
You got an Easter basket? No.
No,
Okay.
I don't do Easter.
All right.
Okay.
I ate mine early, 2 weeks ago. But anyway, we're going to go into a topic that we think everyone should know about, and that is the Michigan Marijuana Act. And we want to make sure that you understand that just because it has been passed and recreational marijuana has been passed, that does not mean that you can just go out in the streets and smoke it anytime that you want. You know, you can't go into your place of employment. So we're going to talk about that. Carl, tell us about the Michigan Marijuana Act and why this is so important to our listeners and to our community.
First of all, Joyce, thank you. First of all, I think that Civics 101 that we have every second Sunday,
yes,
is important simply because we want to educate. No bells and whistles, just to educate people about things that we think they need to know about. And that is so important because unfortunately, a lot of times, if we are not educated on really critical issues, when we learn about them, when we start to complain about them, that ship has sailed and it's too late. And so hopefully this second Sunday series that we've been doing, hopefully we can help with that problem by educating as much as we possibly can. And I think that today's subject is really, really timely because, as you said, I think that there are too many people that think, as opposed to medical marijuana, now that this recreational marijuana law has been passed, that we may have too many people that think that they can just do whatever they want to do, and that is not true. And hopefully we can get that across to people, and especially with some specific do's and don'ts today.
Okay. Now, I am waiting. I have another call-in interview from Sherry Long and a couple other people who are with them, including the Easter Bunny, because they're going to give the community report about how well the Easter egg hunt went on yesterday at the BV Center. And I believe, no, that's not them. They're going to be calling in very shortly. Sherry Long is with the Heart of the City, and Laura Jones, she is with Amazon. She is the CEO of All Freight, AFL Freight. And her business is here in Saginaw, but she runs the Detroit area. Okay. So we have them on the line.
We have one person on the line.
I have one person on the line. Who am I? Who do I have on the line?
Hi, you have the Grateful Love Foundation. You have Heart of the
Wait,
City.
I can't hear them. Please hold on. We're having a little
No,
difficult.
speak up, yeah.
Okay. Can you please speak up? I didn't get your name.
Hi, this is Shatora Carter with.
Oh, Shatora. Okay.
And we have Sherry Long, Heart of the City Development Center.
Okay.
And we have Laura Jones, ALM Freight.
Okay. Hold on. I'm trying to. I can't hear them in here. Hold on one second. I hope you ladies are having a wonderful day today. Can you hear them?
Yes.
Can you hear them?
Mhm.
Okay. Can you hear us?
Hold on. They're making an
You hear
adjustment.
everything that I hear, so you should be able to hear since your headphone.
Okay.
So
Well,
just talk to him.
Okay. All right. I thoroughly enjoyed myself on yesterday, but I wanted to have you and Sherry and Laura to give us a community report on how that event went. Through my eyes, it was spectacular. So if you would please give us a community report. Sherry Long is the founder of Heart of the City, and Laura Jones is the CEO of ALM Freight, and that's associated with Amazon. And also we have Shatora Carter. Shatora, give me the name of your organization.
Grateful Love Foundation.
Say it again, please.
Grateful Love Foundation.
Yes. Okay. All right. And you were all involved with this. Would you please, Sherry, start us off with what happened with this event over at the Lions Park and the BV Center?
Yeah. So we teamed up to have an Easter egg event. Ms. Laura Jones had a vision to bring the community together, and she invited us to team up with her to make this event possible. We came together. This event was spectacular. We had so many community partners who joined in to support us in having this event for the community. And I'm going to let Ms. Laura Jones jump in and just talk about the event.
Okay. So thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Shatora. And most of all, thank you, Ms. Joyce, for having us on. It was an amazing event. We anticipated a large turnout, but I got to tell the city of Saginaw this. They really showed up. They brought the babies. You could see the smiles on their faces all day yesterday. I mean, the line was outside, and I think Shatora captured some of that for Facebook Live. But our hearts are so full of joy that we were able to support each other in this vision, but most of all, support our community. They showed up, Miss Joyce. I got to tell you, we were overwhelmed with joy and love in support for our city. I'll let Shatora take that one.
Hi, the parents were excited. I'll share because it was an all-inclusive event. So
Mm-hmm.
what brought my heart joy was we did have some parents show up with children that had disabilities, but they were so excited to know that those children were taken care of.
Yes.
We made sure that they got baskets. We made sure that they got candy. So a lot of the parents really enjoyed the event.
Okay, very good. Miss Sherry, would you please tell us about all of the sponsors who were there or and who supported this event?
Yeah, so we have some wonderful sponsors that we want to give thanks to because we appreciate them so much for supporting the community, but overall, of course, supporting us to give this event. If I miss anybody, Lord, y'all let me know. So we had Sierra Automotive of Saginaw. We had Molina Healthcare. We had Hourglass Tattoo. We had Miss Carla Burton who showed out on that backdrop for the family.
Oh,
We had Minute Maid Press. Yes. We have Renee Morris. We had Miss Gwendolyn Jones, my mom, who also helped donate.
Mm-hmm.
We had the Delta Sands that donated for Miss Shatora, her Sand sisters. We had, of course, Buena Vista Community Center was just grateful enough to open their facilities up to the community to have this event. We had the Miss Ivilette who came through and volunteered, and we appreciate them so much because we really needed their help.
Oh, absolutely. How many eggs did they have?
Oh, we had
a lot, huh?
So let me see. Amazon donated 600. Walmart donated 1,200.
Kiwanis International Saginaw donated 300.
Okay.
And I think Buena Vista donated about 500. So we had quite a bit.
Yeah, quite a bit, yeah. And so you needed those Ivilettes out there and the other helpers to spread all of those eggs out there. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, Cherie, with your list of sponsors, but go ahead with the sponsors. But those Ivilettes were really on the job.
They were. They helped from beginning to end, set up to end. They were very wonderful. So we also had, of course, Amazon and Elm Freight.
Mm-hmm.
We had Walmart on Bay Road, Miss Christie, who absolutely helped us out a lot.
Very good.
We had Delicious Treats. We had DJ Hype, Shatora's husband, who did a wonderful job with the music. Yes, he did. We had State Representative Amos O'Neill. Let me say, Amos is wonderful. He comes to everything, and we support him wholeheartedly because he does not care big or small. He is there to support his community as a whole. And we appreciate him.
Yes.
We have, of course, the lady on the mic, Miss Joyce Harvin, who comes out also to make sure the city knows what's going on, but she also comes out to support and keep her word.
Yes. Well, I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. And I believe that, you know, when we talk about events, we want to go back and see what it looks like and see what was really going on. But I also recognize that you guys could tell the story better than I can. So that's why I asked you to call in and give the community report.
And I don't know, Miss Laura, the T-shirts. The T-shirt was done by...
So the T-shirts were done by my cousin, Candy.
Okay.
Candy does T-shirts as well. Candy LaShawn. The bunny rabbit, of course, was my brother Peter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we had a big bunny rabbit there.
Yeah, it was so befitting because his name is Peter, right?
Right. Okay. Well, ladies,
and the Amazon guy.
That's right.
Actually, an employee of mine who drove all the way from Pontiac to support the children, and then we cannot forget Miss DeShannon Hayes from Hayes Trucking. She was a photographer. So, it was beautiful.
Wonderful.
And also the Buena Vista staff that helped, too.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They were right in it.
Yeah. They were.
I also had Miss Dow, the coupon ambassador, that donated toiletries.
Okay. Very good. I saw them. But the kids were just excited. And I just want to thank you ladies for doing this. You know, everyone who's involved, the heart of the city, Laura Jones, Shatora Carter, all for what you do, you know, for our community. And I want to thank you for taking time from your Easter dinner to call in and say hello and give us the community report. I thank you very much.
Thank you too for having us.
Joyce.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you.
great
We love
guest.
you, Joyce.
Thank you so much.
God bless.
Thank you. God bless you.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Have a good evening. Okay. Thank you so much. You know, next year, I hope they're going to do the same thing. This was the first Easter egg hunt, and we hope that it will continue because it was very, very, very nice. Very nice, very elegant. And thumbs up to Carla, who did that backdrop for the kids. Okay, we're here on Sunday Civics 101. Carl is here, and we're going to talk about our main topic, which is the Marijuana Act, what you can and what you cannot do. We're going to get back to that in just a few minutes. We do have to have some commercials. We'll be back in just a moment. You are listening to Community Connections, community talk for community people. Be back in a second.
You give me a smile and then I'm wrapped up in your back.
You're listening to Community Connections with Joyce Harvin on KISS 107.1.
Spring has sprung mid-Michigan and business is blooming. That means you could turn over a new leaf in a nicer, newer car. Ryan Wasik here from Bell Wasik GMC Buick, home of the lifetime warranty. And I'm so excited about spring, I wet my plants. So come celebrate with me, and I'll give you up to $4,000 more than Kelley Blue Book value for your old ride based on the price of the car you pick. If the bloom is off the rose with your current ride, you could get way more than it's worth. Do other dealers rake you through the mud over past credit mishaps? We're rooting for you. We weed out the banks that don't want to approve you. So bring me your old ride, and you could get up to $4,000 more than Kelley Blue Book value based on the price of the car you pick. But hurry, this deal will get picked over soon. I'm Ryan Wasik, and I'm your dealer for the people. See all the cars at RyanApproved.com. That's RyanApproved.com.
Credit requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price determines actual trade allowance. Negative equity may be refinanced. Offer absolutely ends April 30th, 2023.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is from Midland Sand Company. You're going to get half off of a $250 gift voucher. Midland Sand is your premier local supplier of sand, topsoil, gravel, and other aggregate products. If you're in need of field sand for your next big project, they have you covered, supplying both residential customers and commercial contractors. Head over to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Progressive presents an ad from Mom.
When you bundle your home and auto insurance with Progressive, bundle, that's a cute word. What? Read it again. Okay. When you bundle your home and auto insurance with Progressive, you get round-the-clock protection. Oh, that's darn good. Because once my older sister Dottie, her basement flooded.
Get round-the-clock protection when you bundle and save with Progressive. It's easier than getting your mom to make this radio ad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
There I go, there I go, there I go, there I go. Pretty baby, you are the soul who snaps my control.
And now back to Community Connections on KISS 107.1.
You are back with Community Connections, community talk for community people. I have my co-host here, Carl Williams. You know, he's a former legislator for the 95th district. Now that's been changed to the 94th, but he is here with me to go through some of the Marijuana Act and what's in it and what our listeners should know. If you are one who consumes marijuana, you need to know some of this information. Go ahead, Carl.
Thank you, Joyce. As I said at the very top of the show, the whole purpose, as we envision it, of Civics 101 that we would do every second Sunday is just to educate as much as possible our community on the things that we think need to be put out there for them. No bells, no whistles, just to educate as much as possible. Because again, if we are not educated, then there are some significant issues that come along that we are just an afterthought because we're not involved in it, because we're not educated, we don't know about them, and we get really emotional, but we get emotional after the fact. And hopefully what we are doing with this second Sunday every month is trying to eliminate that. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about the Michigan Regulation and Taxation of Marijuana Act. And that, in particular, Joyce, is the legal recreational use of marijuana. I'm afraid that we may have some out there in the community who believe that, as opposed to medical marijuana, now that the recreational use of marijuana has been legalized, that some people may think that they can do anything with marijuana and use it anywhere and all the rest of that good stuff, and you cannot.
You cannot.
There are do's and don'ts with this act to that legalized recreational marijuana. And I would just like to make sure that people are aware of some of the significant things, Joyce. To be clear, the purpose of this show is not to judge. We don't want to judge.
All right.
You do what you feel you want to do, but we want to make sure that the community is full aware of some of the consequences of certain actions anyone may choose to take. Let me put it another way, Joyce. Joyce, you and I are going to put it down to where the goats can get it.
Goats get it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to explain it in such a way that people will certainly understand what they can and cannot do with this new recreational act that we've got going, so that there's no ignorance of it, because, Joyce, again, ignorance of the law is no excuse. And we don't want people to get caught up in something that they don't want to. A caveat with all this also, Joyce, is that the information that we're going to disseminate today is inclusive, but not all inclusive of this particular act.
Right.
If a person wants to read this act in its entirety, they can definitely go to the Michigan Regulation and Taxation of Marijuana Act. Just punch that in on their computers, and they'll be able to see the whole act.
Say that slowly now.
For themselves. Okay, Joyce, just to start off with a couple of things, the use of medical marijuana was legalized in Michigan in 2008 through the Michigan Compassionate Care Initiative, and it was followed by the Michigan Regulation and Taxation of Marijuana Act, which we're going to discuss today, that was passed by Michigan voters in November of 2018, which allows anyone age 21 or older to possess up to 2.5 ounces of marijuana and grow as many as 12 plants at home. And this law went into effect on December the 6th, 2008. Let me be also clear about those plants at home. They also have a stipulation that you can grow up to 12 plants, but there's a rule on that, which I'm going to get to. And I hope that everybody's listening to all of this, so that, like I said, we don't have people caught unawares. First, we should talk about the fact that, Joyce, in the case of alcohol, police have a breathalyzer, and if they see you swerving back and forth across the road and think that you may be drunk, they can give you that breathalyzer test, and it is using that they can determine if you're over the legal limit that you're supposed to be in using or consuming after alcohol. After legitimizing this recreational marijuana use, police in Michigan have probable cause to search any occupied car if they smell marijuana, if they smell it.
Does that mean that you're not supposed to smoke it in the car?
No, I'll get to that.
Okay,
I'll get to
right,
that. I'll get to
right.
that. See, that's what I mean. People have different ideas. I'll get to that specifically.
Okay.
What you can and cannot do in a car and anything else that's moving.
Okay.
All right.
And just I want you to put this note down in case you don't have it. The use of marijuana may not be permitted medical marijuana cannot be permitted in some apartment complexes. Do you know anything about that?
I know all about that.
All right.
And we're not discussing medical marijuana today. We're discussing recreational marijuana.
All right.
And in answer to your question about the car,
yes,
Joyce, it is illegal to consume marijuana while driving a car or to smoke it as a passenger in that car. For those who choose to be actively involved or even considering using marijuana in a recreational fashion, whether you consume it by vaping, dabbing, through edibles, or topically, you cannot do it while you are driving a car, and you can't smoke it while you're a passenger in that car, Joyce. And people really need to be aware that. Second, it's important to remember that while marijuana is legal in certain states, it is illegal at the federal level and is still classified as a Schedule I controlled substance.
Going to another state where you can't.
We're going to get to that.
Okay, all right.
We're going to get to. No, this is just telling you that even though, say, Michigan, we've legalized it, the feds still consider it a Schedule I controlled substance.
You have information about the banks too?
Well, let me go.
I'm asking the questions for everybody.
And to be clear that the vehicles be moving, because there are people who go to the park to smoke marijuana. I think that's okay, correct? As long as the car is not moving. If the car is moving, then the passenger or the driver should not be smoking marijuana.
Okay. All right.
Well, I didn't say that.
Okay, all right.
No.
I didn't say that, but you did say moving.
Yeah. While you are driving or while you're a passenger. Like I said, it is not all inclusive what I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to talk about what I think is significant about this act that people will probably have mistaken ideas about. And as I said, they can go to where I said to go on their computers and read the whole act.
Okay.
For themselves. It's a few pages long.
Yes, I see that.
As all bills are.
There's a lot of information there. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm listening.
The following is permitted under Michigan law.
Okay.
Anyone 21 years or older may possess and consume marijuana in a recreational fashion. Where marijuana sales are illegal, an individual can purchase up to 2.5 ounces. However, an individual cannot have more than 15 grams of marijuana concentrate at one time. An individual may keep up to 10 ounces of marijuana flower at home in a secured location. Joyce, the following is not permitted under Michigan law.
Okay.
Public consumptions. Y'all, please don't feel that you could go out now that marijuana, recreational marijuana is legal. Don't feel that you can go stand out on the corner and light up. You cannot do that. It's not permitted in the public.
Oh, boy.
Driving under the influence of marijuana is not permitted. Individuals cannot cross state lines. Also, it is legal. I'll say that again. Individuals cannot cross state lines with marijuana. It is legal in Michigan, but if you've got relatives in Ohio and you're planning to go down to see them, do not take it with you across that state line. Do not do it.
Got it.
Joyce, again, significant sections of the Michigan Marijuana Act is this act does not authorize operating, navigating, or being in physical control of any motor vehicle, aircraft, snowmobile, off-road recreational vehicle, or motorboat while under the influence of marijuana. Transfer of marijuana or marijuana accessories to a person under the age of 21 is prohibited. Any person under the age of 21 cannot possess, consume, purchase, or otherwise obtain, cultivate, process, transport, or sell marijuana. All you young people that think just because it's legalized that you can do it. If you're under 21, it is against the law to consume it, purchase it, otherwise obtain, cultivate, process, transport, or even sell it. Sell it. Sell it. I emphasize, or even sell it.
Let me ask this. I have not been into a marijuana shop, business, store, whatever. Okay. Are there any signs up that have this information on it in the store on the wall so that people coming in see it so they'll know what the law says? Is there anything like that in these new establishments?
Joyce, I, like you, have never entered one. I do not know. And hopefully that is one of the things Civics 101 is doing for people.
Yes.
We're the sign.
Yeah, we're the sign.
We're the
That's
sign
right.
inside. So we're letting them know.
Oh, my goodness.
I have not been in it, so I don't know if it is posted.
Okay.
But I do, and I'm not being cute when I say that, but I think one of the wonderful things about this show that we do every second Sunday is we're the sign.
Yes.
Yeah, we're the information bearers to get to a lot of people on these things. Okay. But like I said, I thought this was so important because I can see by the look on your face that you're surprised at a lot of this stuff.
Yes,
Can you imagine if you are, so are a lot of other people, and I don't want people caught up, after the fact, after they're jammed up, saying, "Well, I didn't know that." You know what I'm saying?
So they are still taking people, going to court with these infractions.
Well, I don't know that for a fact. I would assume that they are. I had asked the county prosecutor for that particular information so that I could give it on this show. I did not hear back. From him on that.
We'll find out. Okay,
Yeah.
keep going. Tell us some more.
All right. Consuming marijuana in a public place or smoking marijuana where prohibited by the person who owns, occupies, or manages that property is forbidden. You cannot do that. You can't smoke marijuana in a public place. And if a person who owns, occupies, or manages a property says that you can't smoke it, I'm renting this place to you and you can't smoke in here, you can't. You cannot do it.
Wow, no 1 cent puffs. Huh?
Yep. Cultivating marijuana plants, if plants are visible from a public place. I thought this was deep. Now this is prohibited.
Okay.
You can cultivate, it said up to 12 plants in your house, Joyce, but you can't do it if the plants are visible with the use of binoculars, aircraft, or optical aids. It has to be well hidden, in other words. But I thought that was really getting deep when he said people can't even be allowed to see it with binoculars or from an airplane. I mean, that's deep.
Yeah, that is.
But it's in the law.
Oh, they were trying to stop it.
It's in the law.
I think they forgot to erase that one.
Okay, now there are some more. Consuming marijuana while operating, navigating, or being in physical control, again, of any motor vehicle, aircraft, snowmobile, off-road recreational vehicle, or motorboat, or smoking marijuana within the passenger area of a vehicle upon a public way. Possessing marijuana accessories or possessing or consuming marijuana on the grounds of a public or private school, you can't do that. Where children attend classes in preschool programs, kindergarten programs, or grades 1 through 12, in a school bus, or on the grounds of any correctional facility, you cannot smoke. You cannot smoke on school grounds. You cannot smoke, whether it's a private school or public school. You cannot smoke on a school bus, and you cannot smoke on the grounds of a prison facility.
Possessing it in your possession, okay, in a car, you can have it going someplace. Like if you're going out to a park, and then you can smoke it out there. But you can't. That will not get you in trouble by doing that.
Yeah. I don't. If you're not smoking it, I don't think that will get you into any
But
trouble.
if you're smoking it in a car in a park and you're not driving,
I won't.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I won't bite on that one.
Okay.
I will say to a person, if you want to take that route, please go to where I told you to go on your computer and read that entire bill.
Right. Okay.
Because the information I said definitely indicates moving. But if you feel, if you want to pull your car over to the sides and smoke a joint, and you'll be all right. Okay, but read this. It's not funny, but read this thoroughly before you do. It end up jacked up in a way you don't want to be.
Yeah, it sounds like recreational at home. Be at home when you do this. Okay.
I would say that would be safe. That would be safe, but don't go around driving around on anything with it. To continue, Joyce, this act does not require an employer to permit or accommodate conduct otherwise allowed by this act in any workplace or on the employer's property. This act does not prohibit an employer from disciplining an employee for violation of workplace drug policy or for working while under the influence of marijuana. And this includes hiring and firing. And that's a heads up for if you're thinking that because it's legal now, you can go to work under the influence. And your employer definitely has rules and regulations about coming to work high.
Right.
That you can be disciplined for that. If they have disciplinary processes in place, then he can definitely do that if you come in there, high, even though it is legal. At least marijuana.
This is an eye opener for a lot of people who are listening.
Well, I hope so, Joyce, because like I said, our intent is not to judge. Everybody has the right of choice.
Yes.
But what we're trying to do is just give people, educate people, enlighten them so that they don't get caught up. Because as I said, ignorance of the law is not, it's not an excuse. You can't tell them, well, I didn't know.
Right.
Because it won't work.
Right.
Yeah, because the law definitely says what you can and cannot do. And here again, if you're thinking that it doesn't apply, that the rules don't apply at work anymore, that are up there that have to do with coming in buzzed up, you got another thing coming. Yeah, the employer can discipline you the way he or she always has if you broke those kinds of rules. Right. And Joyce, it states that this is also applicable to hiring and firing. If you're buzzed up when you come in for an interview.
It's just like you have been drinking or doing other drugs.
Well, and that's the thing. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing. Those prohibitions that you got, you can't run around, drinking in certain places.
The alcohol bottle.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well,
this.
Go ahead.
Well, did you have something?
Go ahead.
Okay. Violations, Joyce, and penalties. I've wrote down some of those. A person who commits any of the acts not authorized in this entire act may be subject to, but not limited to, these punishments, depending on the offense and the number of times committed and the age of the offender. Depending on those three things, whichever one those is, the punishment, the penalty for them can be $100 fine and forfeiture of the marijuana that they find on you.
Oh, okay.
You can be fined $500 and forfeiture of the marijuana that they find on you. Or you could be fined $1,000 and forfeiture of the marijuana they find on you. Or $2,000 and likewise. A designated amount of drug education or counseling and community service can also be added to that. So in other words, depending on the offense, depending on the number of times you committed, and depending on your age, your fines can range from $100 to $2,000. Forfeiture of your marijuana and drug education, counseling, or community service, or all of the above.
All of the
Yeah.
above. They
Yeah.
won't just give you community service. They're gonna get some money.
Yeah, they would add the money, and they would add the drug education classes to the thing. You had asked me, Joyce, in a private conversation, how many the number of marijuana selling establishments we had in the county. As far as I can ascertain, we have 8.
8.
It seems like a lot more when you're driving around.
Yeah.
But as far as I could ascertain on the map that the state shows, it looks like we have 8. I know
Only 8 in the county.
in the county.
Outside of the city of
Yeah.
Okay. All
Outside of well, in the county, period. It shows 8.
right. Okay.
In the city of Saginaw, we have 4, and 1 is pending. 1 is waiting right now.
Only 4?
That is according to, I know. To me, it looks like we have one on every corner.
Yes.
But I specifically asked in the clerk's office, and then they guided me to the ones who give out those numbers in City Hall, and they said we have 4 in City Hall and 1 waiting.
Is that by name under the corporation or the business, or 4 standing buildings? You could have a business, a corporation, and you could have 5 or 6, 7 stores around the city. Okay, so is that under one business name, and then you have 5 or 6 locations, or is it just for individuals? Because I'm gonna go and count now, because
my question was, how many establishments do you have? The number was for the city of Saginaw 4 and 1 waiting.
Okay.
Yep.
Had to go see that.
Yeah, it is good, Joyce, to go over all of these, especially the ones that I thought were significant, because in my mind, I could see, people saying, "Oh, okay, because under medical marijuana." There were certain stipulations that ranged from pain to dementia to, that you had to be under in order to get it. And I am sure, because it would be human nature in a lot of cases, I'm sure a lot of people, once this act for recreational use was passed by the people of Michigan, that people got the wrong idea. Some people may have gotten the wrong idea and thought, okay, I can just go on and do everything I want to do. But the answer to that is absolutely not. Because, a lot of the things you can't do with alcohol, you can't do them with marijuana. You can't do it in public places. You can't do it in schools, whether they're public or private. You can't do it in school buses. If a person is renting an apartment to you and say you can't do it, you can't do it. It's legal in Michigan, but if you have a relative in Ohio, don't take it down there so that y'all can use this recreational marijuana, because it may be against the law in Ohio, where it is not in Michigan. It says you can't carry it across state lines. That is absolutely, forbidden. And people need to know that. And again, it's not that we're judging, because again, you do what you want to do, because that is your choice. But people should definitely know, George, because it's true. A lot of times we are almost like an afterthought. By that I mean, for lack of knowing about certain things. Okay, when we start to discuss them, that ship's gone.
Mm-hmm.
It has sailed. And I know this because I sit in the barbershop and listen to these barbershop philosophers, that are saying, that are saying this and that and this and that. Right. Just everybody having a conversation in there. Not the barbers, but everybody having a conversation. And a lot of the conversations are way off. Where, and you hear people saying it and you would swear it's the truth, but they're completely off. And right now, when you look at the situation in the United States of America, when you look at how our political system has been turned upside down at this point, being involved is not an option anymore. People can't say, well, I'm not going to vote because all of them are crooks. People can't say, I'm not going to vote because my vote does not count. The way things are right now, it is so critical that you have no choice. And in order to vote, in order to be involved in this whole political process, you have to be educated. You have to know.
Right.
For sure, what is going on, so that then you personally make your own personal choice, but you're making a good choice because you're educated to it. Right. And hopefully that's what we're doing every second Sunday, with people. I thought about it again. I mentioned it to you, but I thought about it again on the way here today. There are people out there in our community like Robert Woods, Commissioner Robert Woods, who has so much in his head, both from living the years that he's lived, working the job that he's worked, being in public service the way that he has, that I'm sure, he would love to share all of that with younger people, as I feel, share that with younger people, just so that they can be better educated and use that with what they already have to shine, like those two young men down there in Tennessee are shining right now.
Piece of power with them.
Boy, I am so impressed.
Yes.
That it's crazy. Just listening to them. John, just imagine that with people who have been in public service 20, 30, 40 years, imagine what they have and then combine it, with what people who have had that experience for years and years could do.
Well, I was listening to one of the legislators from South Carolina, and he was talking about how one of those young men had come through and was working with some groups in their home city or in South Carolina.
That was Claiborne, I think.
Yeah, Claiborne.
Yeah.
Claiborne, yes.
Claiborne
yes.
was there.
They were talking about that as I was getting ready to go. I couldn't listen to all of it. They were talking about that, how they left there and decided to go to Tennessee and really put their work in action. They had come and work with the legislature and learn a lot of things that they should know and do. And they said, we need to go and apply this and help people in these other areas.
Yeah, as I said, I was totally impressed listening to the both of them. And I remember months ago talking to the Rob father, and I had asked him what had this great experiment called America Failed, because it looked so crazy. And he was saying, no, Carl, I don't think that it has. And boy, when you look at those young men, you do understand that no, it has not. Hopefully, because when you look at the turnout in this last midterm, the reason so many things got shook up in a positive way, the way they did, was in this last election, the midterms, young people showed up and showed out.
Yes, they did.
They truly did.
And they're doing it now with all these
yeah.
guns in the schools.
Well, what I'm hoping is that all young people are as impressed and motivated as I was to see those young men and what they did and what they are doing to join ranks, because it is the young people who are going to take us across that bridge.
Yes.
It always is.
Right.
Yeah.
If you think back to John Lewis and Julian Bond and Martin Luther King, they were all young at the time.
That's right.
So this is just repeating itself, except on a different issue.
Yeah.
But still among the same issue, because we're still, as a people, still trying to represent and get respected.
Right.
That's why it bothered me so much as to what happened in Tennessee last week.
Yeah, it's a bother because when I hear things like, well, that was 400 years ago, so don't bring this inequity thing to me. And my answer to that always is, that may have been, slavery may have been 400 years ago, but the residue of it still remains. And it's like Rob Father just said, if you look at the 60s and what Martin and Malcolm and all of them were fighting for, Joyce, we're still fighting for the same stuff.
Still fighting
over and over again.
It may look a little bit different, but it's the same.
And no matter how you perfume that pig, it's still a pig.
I like that, Carl.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, give them that where they can go and read this, Carl.
Okay, they can go to their computers and just punch this in. It's the Michigan Regulation and Taxation of Marijuana Act. And you can always go to, www.michigan.gov. Look at, but that should put them right on that bill.
I'm gonna get a copy of this and pass it out to all my.
We got a question on StreamYard here, Joyce and Carl. Gwendolyn Jones asks, underage kids, do they get in trouble, or do the parents get in trouble if they take their kids to the court? If their underage child gets in trouble with marijuana, looks like she's asking, do parents take the case with the child? And either she's asking, do the parents get in trouble as well, or do they have to go to court and be responsible for what their kids did on underage marijuana smokers?
Is the question, does the parent get in trouble if their child smokes?
I think that's what Gwendolyn Jones is asking.
Underage child. Yes. And they're smoking marijuana.
To my understanding, no. To my understanding.
Do you think that they should?
I saw, well, now that's a whole different piece.
That's a different question, though. But
that's a whole different piece. Do I think that they should?
Yeah.
For me, I think they do, but I'm a parent, so I think they do, because I'm just one of those old-fashioned parents, quote unquote, that believes in raising your child properly and to obey the law. And if my child's doing something, I am responsible, because my child, should have known better. I'm going to discipline my child, so
Yeah.
Well,
I agree with that.
Well, I won't debate that on the radio. I won't. And one of the reasons that I won't is I simply won't debate it on the radio, because that's not the format for it.
Okay.
But I can tell you this: if my mom would have got charged for everything I did when I was a child, I know my mother would have said, "Yeah, there's no way you could do this to me," for what he's done. Yeah, and I have no problem with you raising your child the right way, but boy, no.
Carl, we need to have another one of these. We need to where we can take questions from our listeners.
Well, if we're going to set up that kind of format, I would like to know in advance if we're going to do that. And if we're going to, I have no problem with it, but
let's see what the response is. And people do want to put questions on there. I don't know how many.
Well, I'm sure you're going to get 1,000 from today, and legitimately so.
Okay.
Because I think this is a very, very important piece.
It is. It is. Well, look, we are just about out of time. It is 5:54, and we got 2 minutes. Thank you, Carl, for this information.
You're welcome.
Okay.
You're welcome. Thank you for letting me
I need that
share.
website too, so shoot it over to me too.
Okay.
I don't smoke, folks. I don't, but I want to spread it around to everybody that I know. Okay, listen, I do have some community announcements that I want to make sure that you know about. On at Delta College, there's going to be a STEM event also put on by the Heart of the City. Please go to the Delta College website, or you can go to the Heart of the City website and look for that information. Also, on June the 3rd, the Saginaw Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity is having their Fight Like a Man for Your Health fair, and it's going to be at the Dow Event Center. There's no cost to get in. Dr. Chris Allen is the MD of the day, and Dwayne Parker is the person that you can call. This is on June 3rd from 10 to 2 p.m. Dr. Allen is going to be on the show along with Dwayne Parker in the beginning of June. Okay, now hats off to Mom, the scholarship luncheon by the Alpha Kappa Alpha Incorporated Eta Upsilon Omega chapter. Their Hats Off to Mom annual event will take place on May 6th at 11 o'clock at the Horizons Conference Center. And guests from that sorority will be on this show on April 23rd, and they're going to have a big surprise for you. Also, please put this on your calendar for the community conversations with Amos O'Neill, our state representative. And that's on April 20th. And he's going to be talking about recently released individuals re-entering our society. Okay. And there's also going to be a town hall also on the 24th talking about the same thing. So those are my announcements. Oh, I have one that came in the mail here to the station. And it is for the Houghton Jones Neighborhood Association community meeting, April 13th at 6 p.m. at 1708 Johnson Street.
Joyce, and at some point in time, the NAACP, led by President Terry Pruitt, is going to be putting on a town hall on this very issue that we talked about today.
Cool beans. That's good. We'll make sure that everyone gets that information. I want to also say thank you to my guests today, and thank you, Carl, for this conversation about not medical marijuana, but recreational marijuana and what the law says. And we need to pay attention to that. Okay, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna make me some little cards, put them in the window. Yeah, we need to do that. Yep. Thank you so much, and thank you for listening. I'll talk to you next week.
You've been listening to Community Connections with Joyce Harvin on KISS 107.1. The views and opinions expressed on Community Connections by the host, its guests, or call-ins do not necessarily represent the opinion of this station, the staff, its owners, Alpha Media USA,